we're confident at this point that there is no accomplices.
So this is kind of going to be a mixed bag of videos. We're going to start off with a bunch of videos that people have been sending me of East Indians that are coming here to Canada and kind of ruining the country with just littering and just their ways. You're going to see. It's going to make sense in a little bit. And then we're taking a look at a new virus outbreak that has forced new lockdowns. Not yet here in Canada, but in a different part of the world. So that's something to be mindful for. And then we're going to take a look at the update with the New Orleans terrorist attack that just happened last night. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage y'all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. We are very close to 440,000 subscribers, and it'd be pretty sweet if we got there right early in the new year. Without further ado, let's get into this. Starting off with these Indian videos here. So I'm keeping this muted for copyright reasons, but you've got East Indians that are literally making these videos, these little TikTok reels. He's got a Tim Hortons cup and he pretends to trip over a curb and he throws it over a fence, which is littering. I don't know why anyone would joke about that and make videos about that, but it seems to be an ongoing trend. And then you have a Walmart that has been hijacked by Diwali. Yeah, so that's kind of bizarre. I mean, some people just want to go to Walmart to do their stuff. And then, of course, there's this older video here of a bunch of what looks like to be East Indians standing downtown Toronto on top of, well, this looks like a police car for a celebration, but that did happen months ago. And then you've got this video here at Vancouver Airport where this older guy is being like super duper worshipped. They're like kissing his feet and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's something that's just not relatable. And then you've got this video here. No. Kicking a truck, and then the cops do run over. You can see them there in the back. But it's stuff like this where if you just corner a vehicle, especially a truck that has the capabilities of just going forward, I don't know, that seems to be like an act of intimidation, which is probably not the best video to have put it on, since we're going to be taking a look at the New Orleans video in a moment. But then there was this video here of this guy bragging. I opened up a comment so you can screenshot it and read it if you want. This guy's bragging about coming here to Canada and getting into a car crash into the back of a bus, and then like brags about it on TikTok and stuff, and how he's just living a second chance. I mean, what the heck is going on here? And then, of course, this one here, which is just a classic.
Can we get a post-game interview? So what happened? What happened?
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I know, I can see that, but like, what was the thought process? You know? Wow. Wow, that's like a, what year is this thing? Probably like a 2020.
Yeah, I don't know if that guy's gonna have a job going forward, but yeah, there's a lot of those videos that are surfacing. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about that. And then we got to talk about lockdowns and how they could be coming back. They already have come back in certain places around the world. So this is the Manchester Evening News. All right, that's where this article is. Families must stay indoors for 48 hours as highly contagious virus spreads. There are steps you can take to protect yourself and other family members if someone has the virus. Norovirus is highly contagious, but there are ways to protect yourself and other family members if someone in your household falls ill. According to the NHS, norovirus can be transmitted through close contact with an infected person, touching contaminating surfaces or objects, and then touching your mouth. And then, as the headline reads, not urged to stay indoors, but families must stay indoors according to this article, which is giving me flashbacks to not too long ago when Canada did the same thing. So it got me looking into it because I'm sick. I'm sure you could tell, right? I've been sick for quite a few days now. And there's a reason, there's a whole story to that. My kids, specifically my 2-year-old daughter, came down with what seemed to be the whooping cough here in Canada, right? Like the symptoms of it, just based off of research, sounded like the whooping cough. So we went to the hospital late at night, like a couple of nights ago. And the doctors said, or like the check-in, right, at the front, once they take your temperature and stuff like that, they said that the wait time is 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours. It's like, what the heck? This is a kid. What are you talking about? Kids are supposed to be like in and out of like Emerge. Like that doesn't make any sense. That's right. We had to go to Emerge. We couldn't go to a family doctor, like a walk-in clinic. Had to go to Emerge. That's just the state of Canada. So we stick around, and it turns out that the reason why it was 6 hours long was because on the other side of Emerge, everyone else was also there with kids. It was all kids that were sick in the hospital. So that got me thinking, oh, is there like a thing going around for kids? Turns out there is. There actually seems to be a whooping cough outbreak in Canada. Outbreaks or case increases reported in these provinces. Whooping cough is being reported in higher than usual numbers in parts of Canada this year. I mean, this was just a couple of days ago, so it still carries into the new year. Cases of whooping cough, also known as pertussis or the 100-day cough, are increasing in several provinces and territories, a spokesperson for Health Canada, the Public Health Agency, said in an email. And so the point that I'm trying to make is I just feel like we're starting to be desensitized a little bit for something bigger that's going to happen in 2025. The fact that Manchester's already going through or just experienced a few days ago, right before the new year rolled over, experienced those 48-hour lockdowns, at least a specific part, that's kind of scary. And I just feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to probably happen again in Canada because we know what the Liberal government is like. But enough about that stuff. Let's take a look here at what happened with the New Orleans incident or terrorist attack late last night.
Tourist destination, a popular destination for locals as well on a night like New Year's Eve. There had been a parade earlier in the day. Of course, lots of bars and restaurants in that area hosting New Year's Eve celebrations. So this happened in a busy area on a busy night, understandably, of course, and witnesses describing an absolutely horrifying scene. Some witnesses have described seeing a white pickup truck speeding down the street, crashing through a barricade and hitting people in the crowd. And we heard the police chief there saying as well that this truck went around the security barricades that had been set up in that area. She made it very clear that they're treating this as intentional behavior. We heard her say that this driver allegedly tried to run over as many people as possible. And she did reiterate that this was not a drunk driving situation, she had mentioned. So again, to recap the numbers that we know at this hour, they are reporting that 10 people have died and another 35 people have been brought to various hospitals in the city.
Oh my goodness.
And 2 police officers have been shot. So she described how when the vehicle came to a stop after crashing, she says the driver fired upon police officers who were on the scene and 2 were shot. They are in stable condition is the latest on those police officers. There had been a heavy police presence in the area for New Year's Eve celebrations. Earlier in the week, local police saying how they would be at 100% staffing and had even brought in other police officers from other jurisdictions, an additional 300 officers. So a heavy police presence, not just because of New Year's Eve celebrations, but because the city is set to host a major football game today, the Sugar Bowl, which is a major college football game. And so there are even more tourists in the city right now and visitors than normal because of...
And so the question that's kind of on everyone's mind is, was this like a coordinated attack? Was there multiple people involved? And the FBI has since come out with answers. So you can actually see at the top here, CTV banner says breaking. FBI now says the driver responsible for deadly New Orleans rampage acted alone. And then you can see here the FBI says the New Orleans truck attacker acted alone in the act of terrorism. So let's take a look here at what appears to be the FBI or the local county sheriff that talks about the matter here.
In today's world, I get it. Information, we get information like that. Everybody lives in a 15-second TikTok video. We think that life operates like it does on our phones, and it just doesn't. Information changes. In fact, that's why we ask the media for patience. We get information, like I said, no one dumps 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and puts it together in 5 seconds. Okay? And what I would tell you is that I appreciate the fact that what we did was we're under-promising and over-delivering today. And I think that's important. And I want to remind something. Look, because over the last decade, law enforcement has taken it on the chin, unfairly. And there are great men and women serving in the FBI, in ATF, in Louisiana State Police, in New Orleans PD. Our sheriffs have been unbelievable in this. And I tell you, they want to protect you all. And we have to trust them. And sometimes the information we put out, we end up finding out that it may be incorrect. But guess what? What we're doing here is something that I think is important. It's called transparency. And look, something may change again. Here's what I do know, though. Right now, this is one of the same. It doesn't mean that nothing can't happen.
Thank you, Governor. And to echo exactly, I think the governor put it eloquently, as Khabib said. In a lot of these instances, I also had the opportunity to deploy to Boss Bomb, and I will tell you this is almost carbon copy to Boss Bomb as far as the inaccurate reporting that comes up. And what the governor said is we want to be transparent with the public. Years of the FBI not being transparent, we're being as transparent as we possibly can. Unfortunately, as we're being transparent, unfortunately for that, there is some information that we have to go back and recorrect. And in this particular incident, you heard the resources that we brought, that the other state and locals have brought. We've had 24 hours now to go through media, to go through phones, to interview people, to analyze those videos, analyze other databases. And after all of that, there's been hundreds and hundreds of leads done just in 24 hours. We're confident at this point that there is no accomplices. And I'll give you an idea of how that information sometimes. A lot of the early reports came out that there were extra people that were setting the coolers down, right? It turns out those were just patrons on the street that were looking inside the coolers, right? Well, we didn't know that at first, so we had to kind of track all that down and put that to rest. So that's just an example, one of the pieces of information, but there were other pieces of information that after we got our feet under us a little bit and on the ground here, we were able to put together a much more accurate picture of the subject and his attention.
The updated death toll, we just wanted to double check that.
Yes.
14, not 15? Sorry, sir.
14, and then the shooter himself would be 15 total, to include the shooter.
And the IEDs, were the IEDs pipe bombs, and have you discovered a remote detonator anywhere? And when you said that you have surveillance footage of the suspect planting those IEDs, what time roughly were they planted?
Yeah, those roughly a couple hours. I don't have the exact times in front of me. A couple hours prior to the attack, probably after midnight. I want to say 1 or 2 in the morning, but I can't.
Left the area and came back.
Correct. That's our assumption now. I mean, we still have a lot to work through. We're getting more surveillance video and everything else, but that's the assumption.
Was he wearing suicide vest?
So I think it's been a pretty clear message from President-elect Trump that this isn't going to be an easy ride for terrorists moving forward when he's in. Like the wrath of the closest thing to almighty something himself. Trump is going to be using every single resource within the American means to basically boot out and penalize and punish acts of terror. And when things like that come out from a president's mouth, it makes me feel a little bit better that we're bordering America, but I would feel a little bit better than that if we were actually on better terms with America and not at 25% tariff threat status still. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about this. Do you believe what was just said, that he acted alone, or based off of videos that you've seen? Do you think it was multiple people? Let me know your guys' comments down below. That is the end of the video, everybody. Sorry for covering a couple different scattered things, but it is what it is. And I look forward to seeing you guys in another video. On your way out, if you haven't yet already, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.